Am I the a-hole for not doing anything after discovering that my wife deleted my daughter's novel? I have been married to my wife, Hannah, 36, for 2 years. She and my daughter, Morgan, 16, don't have a daughter-mother relationship. To be completely transparent here, they both fight often and just don't get along. Morgan used to spend most of her time at her mom's, but now is staying with us for school. I remember Hannah telling me about a novel Morgan has been writing on her laptop. She admitted to sneaking and looking at it without Morgan's knowledge, but she praised her writing style and storytelling. So I thought that was a positive thing. Yesterday, I got back home and found Morgan and her mom yelling at Hannah. I asked what was happening, and Morgan told me that Hannah deleted her novel. Hannah said that Morgan created a character in the novel using her description and name, and making her the villain. Not only that, but she wrote bad words about her. Morgan argued that it was just a character, and Hannah had no business snooping on her laptop to begin with. Hannah broke down crying after my ex-wife threatened her. I just watched the three of them fight and did nothing nor said a single word. I stepped out for a minute to get fresh air, and moments later, Hannah unloaded on me about how I should have defended her in the argument instead of acting so cowardly. Morgan and her mom also said that I should have done something when Hannah decided to snoop, then deleted Morgan's month's worth of work. It just became too much with the three of them berating me and yelling in my face. Morgan went home with her mom and she was crying and refused to speak to me. And Hannah checked into a hotel also refusing to speak to me. The texts from both sides kept coming in, both telling me I should have done something and should have taken their side in the argument. I just had to stay out of this one. I was on my feet the entire week working. Both mental and physical health are down the drain, and I'm tired of them fighting all the time then blaming me for my actions / or lack thereof. Both are expecting me to get involved and do something to fix this, but I haven't done anything yet. Am I the a-hole for not getting involved? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. Hannah should pay for the recovery services to get the novel back. This will run $1,500 to $3,000 and won't guarantee that it is successful. There is no question who the a-hole is here, and it's both you and Hannah. The laptop should be powered off and not used until it is sent in for recovery to give it the best chance of succeeding. It just became too much with the three of them berating me and yelling in my face. Well, you aren't going to have a great time here either. This. Also, OP, you should have shut Hannah down the moment she admitted to snooping through Morgan's things. You should have told her to stop and told Morgan to add or change her password. You and Hannah are huge a-holes. I see the next novel having 2 villains. One nasty snooping one and one cowardly one. You're the a-hole, as is Hannah. Your daughter was writing fiction and probably processing some stuff with that writing. Hannah snooped, then deleted her work. Work which was in no way public or created to hurt Hannah. You are the a-hole for not realizing how profoundly Hannah messed up here and how inappropriate her behavior was. Not to mention that Hannah was offended that she was written as the villain and then actually became the villain by deleting the novel. And the irony is that I know lots of writers tend to base villains, names and descriptions, etc., on people that they like because they are much less likely to react the way Stepmother did. A good villain is always a little likable, so you base them on people that you love to make that come across. That's what I do anyway. The alternative, though, is that it could have been a way of working through emotions like it is for many people. So the stepmother definitely earned her role as the villain. You're the a-hole. Your wife had no right to go into your daughter's laptop and delete her personal writing. All she did was prove that your daughter was correct to make her the villain. Both are expecting me to get involved and do something to fix this, but I haven't done anything yet. You're the husband and father, and you've failed at both. Grow a spine. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling the officer where my mom's boyfriend was the day he was supposed to attend court? So my 16 male mom has been with her boyfriend Joseph for a few months now. He lives with us most of the time. Now, I don't know the full extent of what's going on exactly, but from what I understand is that he got caught up in child support case and he just keeps missing court dates after court date, basically avoiding to show up. Also, from what I understand, his ex has a sick child who needs money to pay for medical bills. The other day, an officer showed up to our house while I was outside fixing the fence. Joseph opened the door and I heard his entire conversation with the officer, telling him he couldn't attend court last week because he had a family emergency and had to go out of town to deal with it. The officer seemed skeptical about believing his story and insisted on the importance of respecting court date/attendance. After the officer was done talking to Joseph, he approached me and started asking me about what I was doing. He then asked if I saw Joseph on X date Y day. I said yes. Told him he was with Mom at her apartment that is located in X location. The officer seemed confused. He went back to the porch and rang the door again. Joseph opened the door and they started talking. I freaked out internally because the officer was confronting him with my statement, so I decided to go to a neighbor's friend's place. After a while, I got an angry call from Mom telling me to get my snitching butt home ASAP. I went home and she blew up at me saying that Joseph had just been taken to the police station after I snitched on him to the officer. I told her I got worried and couldn't lie to the officer, but she screamed that I just got her boyfriend in a huge trouble instead of keeping my mouth shut or saying I knew nothing. She scolded me for 30 minutes, had a full-on breakdown, then punished me, then left to be with Joseph at the station. I felt so confused and regretful for getting them into trouble, but I just couldn't help lie to the officer because this could have major repercussions, and I'm not the type who wants to get involved in trouble. I'm punished for eternity by the looks of it, and I don't think I made a right call here. Not an a-hole, and everyone else in this situation is an a-hole, including the cop. The boyfriend sucks for so many reasons, including not providing for his child. Your mom sucks for wanting you to lie to a cop. Seriously, what the hell is she thinking? Don't do it, no matter what she tells you to do. Lastly, the cop sucks for talking with you without a parent present, and for failing to consider your safety when confronting the boyfriend. Someone should file a complaint against him. Damnation. You should not have to deal with this kind of crap at 16. Yep, that cop straight up put you in a potential danger, OP. You did the right thing, and it's not fair that it's coming back to bite you. Not an a-hole. OP's mom is awful. I had narcissistic parents growing up, and it was terrible. I feel so bad for OP. OP, do you have other trusted adults that you are close to? Not an a-hole. Also, I'm not a fan of the police officer's actions for asking a minor for information that might put the minor in danger at home. It's actions like that which result in distrust in policing institutions. Where's that officer now that OP has to deal with her mom and Joseph when he returns? Not an a-hole. It's Joseph's fault that he didn't attend court. If he makes the silly decision to skip a court date, then you're not responsible for lying in order to help him avoid any ramifications. And seriously? All this talk about snitching and getting him in trouble. What, are they at school? No, they're not legit. Snitching would be from Joseph's culture along with hiding from the cops and abandoning a sick child. Opie's mother is not any better. Imagine punishing your child's honest impulse and beating him down to placate your awful boyfriend. Hope you can get out of there soon, Opie. You have a conscience and the makings of a good person. Not an a-hole. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my boyfriend useless because he invited his friends over to get drunk while looking after my son? I, 24 female, have a 4-year-old son from a past fling, and the father is not in the picture. I do have a boyfriend, 25 male, who I have been dating since mid-2020. Although he has a great bond with my son, I have never left them alone by themselves for longer than 20 minutes. Obviously, it takes time to build that level of trust, especially considering he doesn't have experience with children. Anyway, my older sister's bachelorette party was last night, and I had no one to babysit my son. Usually my mom does, but she wasn't available, so I was planning on hiring a babysitter. This was when my boyfriend offered to look after him. Initially, I was hesitant, but I decided to say yes because he has never done anything wrong by me or my son. So I went and attended my sister's bachelorette. My boyfriend is pretty familiar with my son's schedule, but I wrote him a list before I left just in case. Later in the night, I called my boyfriend to check up on how he was going, but he wasn't answering his phone. I texted and called him multiple times with no reply. I was anxious as hell, so I decided to leave hours early and go home. When I went inside, my boyfriend and a bunch of his friends were in the living room playing games and drinking. There was alcohol everywhere. The only positive thing is that my son was in bed. I waited until my boyfriend's friends left to confront him. He said that he invited his friends over last minute, and it wasn't planned beforehand. I was irate because I don't want drunk people around my 4-year-old child. My boyfriend claims he wasn't drinking, but I could smell alcohol on his breath, so I know he's lying. I told him he was freaking useless, and I'm never gonna trust him again. He pretty much feigned innocence, said he did nothing wrong, he was just hanging with his friends, and that looked after my son just as I had asked. Now he's claiming that I'm creating unnecessary drama. I'm ungrateful and I should be thanking him, not biting his head off. We're both pissed at each other, but I believe I have every right to be angry, unlike him. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. He shouldn't have offered to babysit if he wasn't prepared to actually be responsible about it. Yeah, and she was originally planning to get a babysitter, and he offered to babysit. If he wanted to get drunk and have friends over, he should have just let her get the babysitter she originally wanted and everything would have been cool. 100% agree. And it shouldn't really have to be said that someone has to stay sober while babysitting. Also, he needed to know to answer his damn phone when he's looking after your kid for the first time. I don't think he's ready to be a stepdad material. Not that he's not a good guy, but he needs work. You could meet him halfway and say that maybe you weren't clear enough with what's expected, and that he wasn't thinking he was doing anything wrong. But don't give up your stance that drinking and not paying attention to the kid or his phone is wrong. Not stay home. If your son got hurt, how is he going to drive him to the ER while drunk? I think you have hit the massive red flag that it is time to get out. I agree. But to me, the biggest red flag is that he won't admit wrongdoing and is upset with Opie for creating unnecessary drama and lying about not drinking. I think if he were very apologetic, there might be a way to work through this. But the lies and failure to take responsibility make getting out the only option, sadly. Congrats, your son is still alive. Now dump your boyfriend. Not stay home. LMAO. This made me laugh and perfectly sums it up. Time to pack your bags, Opie. Right? I want to vote not the a-hole, but like she's still calling him her boyfriend. Current boyfriend. The heck? So like, for this, no. But if she doesn't break up with him over the 1. Getting smashed while babysitting, 2. To the point that he can't even handle answering the phone, 3. Having a bunch of drunk strangers at the house while babysitting, and 4. Gaslighting Opie about it, then yeah, it would have to be everyone sucks here for me. Whatever it is that Opie finds charming or endearing about her boyfriend, it can't be enough to make up for this. This relationship can't go anywhere if she has a child, and he isn't responsible enough to be in a child's life. Even if it's the prick. Dude, there are other passes in the world attached to better people than this guy. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepmother to get over her child calling my wife mom? My father married my now stepmother late in life after an accidental pregnancy. For reference, my father is 71, my wife and I are 32 and 30, and my stepmother is 41. My stepmother was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer while pregnant, and it has progressed to stage 4. She has less than a year to live. We've already worked it out between the 3 of us that after my stepmother passes on, my wife and I will be adopting the baby. It's the perfect solution. My father will get to fully retire and have a more appropriate grandfather role. My wife and I will be able to have a second child, and our older child will be able to have a younger sibling that they've already bonded with, since we already do most of the care for the baby because she's far too ill. I came over to visit and show them pictures and videos of the kids. I didn't think about this, but in one of the videos, the baby can be heard saying mama to my wife. She got angry at that and asked if we allow the baby to say that, which we do, and it came out that we would be adopting the baby when she passes on. She balked at that and said she would never allow it, but quite frankly, that's just not her choice. I tried to tell her not to worry about it and that we would make sure she wasn't forgotten, but she got angry and tried to say that she would stop it. I shouldn't have engaged, but I did, and I ended up telling her to get over it because that's just what it was going to be. She started crying and I stormed out. My father is upset with me for upsetting her, which I feel bad about, but she's the one who made a big deal about it. She never had to even think about it. She brought it up, not me. We didn't want to stress her out about it because there was no need to. But what did you think the reality of the situation was going to be? My wife and I are already the ones raising this child. My father is too old to fully raise another child or even want to. I don't think it's my fault that she pressed for a truth and then didn't like what she found. You're the a-hole. Y'all went behind her back and planned her child's future without telling her. Not only that, you couldn't even wait for her to be dead to start enacting your little plan. She just found out her husband intends to abandon their child when she dies, and you think she should just get over it? Not to mention Opie calling his and his wife adopting the baby a perfect solution. Nothing about the situation is perfect, Opie. Your second child is losing their mother and will not be raised by their father. Please recognize that even though there is a logical solution to all of this, it's still a tragedy and hard and painful. If you cannot treat your dying stepmother with compassion at this time, I'm not sure how well you are prepared to support your adopted child through coping with everything as they grow, and understand their origins and how they came to be with your family. Opie has no regard for stepmom's feelings. She just found that her husband has no intention of raising the baby, and I don't get it. Feels like Opie already decided that she will die soon. I feel pretty bad for her. Opie's dead enjoying his retirement. She might have thought he will take care of the baby even when she is gone. You're the a-hole, Opie. Give her some respect, that's all. You're the a-hole. She's dying and her kid is calling another woman mama. Dude, have a heart. I'm wondering why you and your wife have a kid. The baby has a father who should be taking care of them and should be spending time with their mother while there's still time. There's something off about your story. In any case, you're the a-hole. The baby's father is 71, dude. Most men I personally have met from that generation have been provided for constantly, either by mother, girlfriend, wife, or even hard hands. I don't even know how to cook a simple meal. Never mind take on infant care solo. There are always exceptions, and he may be one of the exceptions, but in my personal experience, it seems more likely that he wouldn't be able to do it on his own. Well, you're the a-hole. A relatively young woman has to confront her very real death while leaving behind her child, and she should just get over it. Did you guys even include her in the discussion about her child's care after her passing? You're going to ensure she's not forgotten, but her child is already calling your wife mama. You're the a-hole.